Hey folks, welcome back to the farm. We got a special delivery on the homestead. It's going to be a huge surprise. Are you excited, babe?
Yes.
All right. You've been waiting a while for this, huh?
Yes.
Well, here it is. We had to unload it with the tractor because the guy showed up with like a 50-foot trailer, and that's not advised on our driveway. Luckily, we had pallet forks. Is it big enough? Thing looks huge. Let's get this thing over to the driveway, and we'll start getting this thing together. Super slow down the driveway. Kelly's unboxing. Got to get this stuff off the top before we can pull the bottom box off. Do you want to let them know what it is, babe? Or are we going to hold it for a surprise?
Well, it was a surprise that it still came today after all the snow.
Yeah. It's a surprise they came down the road, huh?
Yeah. This is our large freeze dryer that I ordered from Blue Alpine back early December.
What? It's not a harvest right?
Not a harvest right. I did a little research.
Yeah. My Kelly does research when she does stuff, so we'll tell you all about that here in a little bit. Boy, this thing came well packaged. It had styrofoam around it, and then even got like a carpet pad blanket over the whole outside. I think there's much chance this thing would have got dinged up unless it fell off the truck at about 60. So we're going to get the rest of this off, see what she looks like.
There she goes, going into the house. Alright.
Probably going to need you ahead of me so when we go down the stairs. And yeah, we're going in the basement with this thing. Gonna be fun.
Whose brilliant idea was that?
Was it yours?
Oh, I think it was.
All right, we got it down this flight of steps. And then over in here, the basement. Kelly's unwrapping. And this is where it's going to go, right here. So we got to get this thing up on that table. All right, we got it up there. It wasn't terrible. Kelly's being real careful with her razor knife. Remember, we ran a new circuit, 20 amp circuit back here, which is needed for this. This is their large version. We've been waiting for this to go into production. They made the smalls and the mediums first, babe?
I don't know if they did any smalls. I think it's just mediums.
Medium and large.
Yeah.
Super cool. Like this spot was made for it. Wow, this thing came packed super well. I've been trying to disseminate the packing material and basically filled up our whole can. This can is completely full of the packing material. Other than the cardboard, we have other ways of getting rid of that. All right, while I was outside taking care of the packing material, Kelly got her freeze dryer completely installed. There's not much to it. They have some ties on the inner rack that you got to take loose to keep that from shifting around during transportation. There needs to be a bucket to put down on the floor underneath this little drain valve. The pump is back in this location here, plugged into the wall. And there's a power button on the pump, and there's a power button on the back of the freeze dryer. The freeze dryer plugs into the wall, and the pump plugs into the side of the freeze dryer over here. So it looks pretty much like any other freeze dryer. It's got think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays that go into this. We'll go show you the trays. Here's all the trays. There's 5 of them. They're the size of a half sheet pan, and they have these silicone mats that go in them. That's nice that they're this size. Normally the freeze dryer trays are pretty narrow, so you can get quite a bit of food into that wide tray. It comes with bags, Mylar bags. Comes with oil for the pump. Kelly got these filters to filter the oil out, because if you filter the oil you can reuse it. More Mylar bags. Got a sealer thing right here for sealing bags. Got a bunch of the oxygen packets that you put inside the bags. Pretty cool. Alright, it's been a couple days since we got our freeze dryer here on the homestead, because we've been busy and Kelly's been working, and they said you had to leave it set for a day. Was that?
They recommend 24 hours just so that everything can settle back into place during shipping. It's shipped upright, but you never know what happens with the shipping company.
And I did ask Kelly about the tray size. Remember I said they're probably half sheet pan, and they are exactly half sheet pan. I pulled one of our pans out. It's the same exact size. So if you needed extra pans, you wouldn't necessarily have to go to the manufacturer to get pans, right? Correct.
You can go right to Walmart and buy the half sheet pans, or a kitchen supply store. That was one of the major pluses with this company.
Yeah, and these look like they're so much wider than the ones I've seen on the internet. I don't know if Harvest Right's got one that's that wide, but
no, theirs are all rectangle, long and skinny.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Special. You can't buy them anywhere but Harvest Right.
So I've never seen Kelly chomp at the bit so much to do something. It's been pretty neat to watch. But she's got some stuff she bought like even 2 days before she got the freeze dryer, getting ready to freeze dry stuff. So what are you freeze drying today?
Right now I'm getting ready to put mangoes. I bought some Pink Lady apples, some bananas to do banana chips, and probably what will turn out to be my favorite is strawberries.
Can I have a strawberry?
This first one, this first load is going to be fruit, and then I have a second load that I'm going to do asparagus, green beans, and mushrooms.
Ooh, and you know what? I bought you some beet seeds, because we can plant beets right now in the garden because they will handle frost in their early spring crop. So I would love to try some of those freeze-dried beets.
Yeah, the ones that you brought me back from California were really good. And I don't like beets.
Yeah. They're just like salted, right? When they're...
I think they garlic salt them, yeah.
So you're going to get ready to fill these pans, right?
Yep.
All right.
Mango's going over now.
Cool deal. Now what's in the bottom of these pans?
Silicone mats that come with the machine.
Cool.
They give you the trays, all 5 trays, and then the silicone mats. If you don't want to use the silicone and want something more disposable, the parchment paper fits right in it too.
And you were explaining about you've numbered the trays. What's the purpose of that again?
I took a chalk marker and numbered them 1 through 5. When you check them to make sure that the fruit is drying appropriately. I've read that if you find some that aren't drying as fast or need a little bit more heat, to jockey them in the positions, because some of the trays have warmer areas that dry faster. So
similar to a dehydrator, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing.
Just helping it decrease the amount of time.
All right, let's get these babies loaded. Now, I've also heard that some people say you need to pre-freeze and it shortens the cycle. What is the thoughts on that with this freeze dryer?
Some people do it, some people don't. The reason I decided not to is because number 1, we don't have space in our freezers. And number 2, they say that you should probably still go through the freeze cycle depending on how fast you can move it from the freezer to the freeze dryer. Because if it sits for any length of time, it's going to start to thaw, and then you have moisture on your food that can kind of create an issue.
So you're just kind of doing one layer, leaving some space in between.
For these, yeah, because this is all the mango that I have.
Okay. I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, it should be.
All right.
Pretty good.
We'll come back when she's got her trays filled. So Kelly's got this fancy strawberry slicer. Look at this. She just cut the tops off of them, and then it's got little blades on the inside or underneath, and then it collects them after you slice them. I'll show you the bottom of it when she's done. That's what the bottom of it looks like. It's got little metal blades in it. Cool. Pampered Chef.
Pampered Chef.
We have a cousin, if you didn't know already, that sells Pampered Chef. We buy some of her stuff. Perfect little slices. It's awesome. So, babe, everybody knows about Harvest Right, and we're not dissing Harvest Right in any way, shape, or form, but you bought one other than the Harvest Right one. What kind of research did you do, and what did you find is the difference between these? What made you buy this one?
Well, I started out following a few different Facebook pages that most of, if not all, everybody had on there was the Harvest Right freeze dryers. And I started seeing a trend in issues with them. Constant malfunctions, poor customer service when they had questions.
And these are other people's opinions, of course.
Yes, and I'm sure the majority of that is operator error, because even now, this is going to be my first load doing it, but I've been following those Facebook pages for months. I can see that most of the people that have issues also haven't read the manual.
Oh, okay.
And so that's a big thing for me. So I started watching those posts and seeing if anybody else made other recommendations. And with consistency, Blue Alpine kept coming up. And I might be wrong, but I think there's only 3 companies that make home freeze dryers. Harvest Right being the first, I believe. Blue Alpine, and then I think it's 4 Patriots that also has one too. There might be a 4th one.
Okay.
I think there might be a Stay Fresh or something that I've seen. But the Blue Alpine kept coming up on recommendations on other freeze dryers. And from what I read on it, they have been researching home freeze dryers for like 5 years before they started production.
Don't let me stop you working.
And so I liked that they were researching the other brands, paying attention to the issues that those brands were having, and then trying to fix them in their design. And the other thing that I really saw on the Blue Alpine was customer service. Now, granted, they're still a much smaller company, so they have the ability to have better customer service. They don't have to employ as many people, but their customer service seems out of this world, to the point where the owner is usually the one that addresses the issues directly.
Now, we had a minor issue with ours.
Yes, and that was resolved today. When we got it on Friday and set it up, the pump didn't have the locking nut that goes on the
hose to the vacuum pump.
The hose, yeah, to the vacuum pump. Didn't have the locking nut, which is not absolutely necessary to run, so that's why we're able to use it tonight.
And they say that right in the video, you don't have to have it.
But me being who I am, if it's supposed to be there, then I want it.
Yep.
And so I had emailed the contact that I had that set up our shipping and hadn't heard back from her in the last 2 days. I'm kind of going to sound impatient here, but so I emailed through the company this morning, and the owner responded probably within 15 minutes and said, taken care of, it's not needed to use it, go ahead and use it for your first run tonight, and we'll get it back, we'll get that piece out to you. And about 15 minutes after that, I had a tracking number.
Wow.
So
that's service there.
Yeah. They also, before these machines leave their factory, I guess, and actually are shipped to you, do so many test runs on the machine that the bread run that Harvest Right suggests is not necessary on these. And what the bread run is your very first load that goes through the machine for Harvest Right, you're supposed to fill with cheap bread. It's not going to be edible afterwards, because the point of the bread is to kind of suck the chemical fumes that are burning off during the process out of there. So it's not supposed to be consumed after you do that. With Blue Alpine, they've done all the testing and burned off all that initial stuff.
Volatile compounds.
Yeah. So we get to skip a step. I feel bad throwing the bread out, even if it was cheap. I'd want to give it to the chickens.
Yeah.
I don't want to poison the chickens either. So.
Now, do you recall what some of the other issues that they worked out with their machine that they saw with the other machines?
Well, Harvest Right seems to have a lot of like programming issues, and they do upgrades to the software, and it's probably like any other company. iPhone has the same issue, or Apple has the same issue.
In your opinion?
No, they have the same issue. They do upgrades that then create additional issues. And so from what I read on a lot of these Facebook posts is the issues that people are having, if it's not operator error, is the updates that they've done. And it's actually recommended by a lot of users of Harvest Right not to update your software, especially from certain versions. And so I think Blue Alpine has tried to kind of curb those issues as well.
Now let's talk price. That had to play into your decision, right?
It did.
Because we're not rich people.
No, we're not rich people. Price-wise, I got the large because right now, while Blue Alpine's still building their company, they had mediums out. I think they've been selling mediums for 2 or 3 years. The larges just came into play, the design last year, I think. And they started pre-selling the larges at a price that you couldn't pass up, because the large or the extra large for Harvest Right is about $5,000. And so I went with the large on Blue Alpine because they were discounting it. And I was able to get a large at the size of what I would have paid for a medium with Harvest Right.
Okay.
How long that price lasts, I don't know. They're getting pretty popular.
All right, Kelly's loading up the freeze dryer. One more tray. All right, we're getting ready to start. So Kelly's clicking on recipes, and it's got all different kinds of stuff you can do. We're doing fruit, so she's going to press fruit.
Freeze time 7 hours, dry time 20 hours.
All right.
Start that, ensure the door is shut, which it is, and the drain valve is closed, which I've already done.
There she goes. All right, folks, we will see you tomorrow with the finished product. All right, folks, freeze dryer is done. I had some apples. They're amazing. Concentrated apple flavor. Can I have a strawberry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. It's amazing how it intensifies the flavor. Try a banana. Mmm. It's like a freeze-dried fruit salad. And this is mango.
Mango, yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting texture on the mango. So you're sealing them in jars?
Yeah. I figure they won't need to be preserved for very long.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these will get ate up pretty quick. Well, that's a pretty neat little gizmo there. Seals the mason jars up. Pretty neat. Well, with the exception of what we devoured already, here's our haul from the freeze dryer. We've got some strawberry banana mix here, full strawberries, bananas, mangoes, apples. All of it's really good, really intense fruit flavor. I thought about, you could even take like the strawberries or any of this stuff and make like a powder out of it to put in smoothies. Would be fantastic because it would rehydrate a lot quicker in the smoothie. And you don't even need to rehydrate this stuff. It tastes really good just like it is. So Kelly is hooked now. She said that's going to be her new obsession. She's going to stay home today from the Easter festivities, and she wants to put some vegetables in to do. So hope you enjoyed the freeze dryer. We'll keep you posted on that. If you check out Kelly on our Facebook channel, Markelly Farm, you'll see a lot of what she does and the progress that she makes with her freeze dryer. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here on Markelly Farm.